what I believe to be called a sunfish. It's just floating in the water here. I don't know if you guys can see it.
I'm not entirely impartial because I live on the east coast, but in terms of volume of wildlife, birds and seals, and the sheer amount of them, the east coast was just by far outshot anything else. There was just so much going on. Maybe it didn't have the diversity of the other places, and the further we went round, the more unusual things we saw, but that's maybe only because we didn't live in those places. It really was amazing to see all the wildlife we saw, and it just got more and more exciting as we got further south.
I don't think we appreciated the wildlife on the East Coast just because we live here and have seen it all before. But there was a lot more. You looked and you'd see something, whereas other places, it was an event when you saw a seagull.
Yeah. So, but when it did pop up, it was always the further south, the more special.
You saw more interesting things.
Or more unusual.
It stopped being a gannet and started being a shark fin, for instance. Things definitely got different.
Okie dokie. Hello everybody, we're in Ilfracombe Yacht Club here, which is a brilliant place, very very good, which Leah will tell you about in a bit. We're finally back in England, North Devon, very nice, apart from it's raining and pretty cold outside. We finally got out of Wales. Yesterday we crossed from Worm's Head. It was horrible, probably the worst crossing yet for me. Really bad, big waves, lots of rain, took much longer than it should have. Back was sore, basically pretty groggy. But we got in here and it's nice. Stuart's going to tell you a bit now about the misfortune he had when we were landing, so I'll let him go.
Yeah, so we got into Ilfracombe and we couldn't find the harbour, so we landed on the beach, which was a bit of a mistake. There wasn't any big waves. We landed and there was a few rocks, and I went up first and jumped out my boat, went to pull my boat up, and a wave caught the back of my boat and a ripple, and pushed it into the rock, and didn't notice anything, didn't expect anything to be there. Got the boat up to the top, looked back at the boat, and there was a big hole in my boat. So completely unexpected.
Fist-sized hole.
Couldn't believe it. But yeah, fella is busy doing repairs now, which is great. He's done a cracking job up to now. So yeah.
When we got here though, first day back in England, great reception. We landed, tried to find somewhere for the boats. First pub we went into, he said he didn't have anywhere, but his other pub down the road had a big spot in the back. We just slung them all in there, so that's great. We're put in touch with a fiberglass repairman. He's working on Stuart's boat now, and we've come into the yacht club, and just kind people here have given us places to stay, free breakfasts, free food, and somewhere we've had our clothes washed. It's all been great.
What's the name of this place? We should mention it.
Ilfracombe Yacht Club.
Ilfracombe Yacht Club, yeah. So if you ever come to Ilfracombe, come to the yacht club, because the people are super friendly. And we've been tracked like celebrities since we've been here.
And brilliant ice cream.
Oh, ice cream's good as well.
Oh, check out the coconut and hazelnut just in case you're over here.
Okay then, bye.
Stu's first cast of the day. Let's see how it goes. Oh, will he hit the wall? And he's stuck. What an expert Newbiggin fisherman he is. Oh well, brilliant Newbiggin fisherman, that's the end of that. Leslie Vision 2, the fisherman argument. Who's broke what rod? Who'll be pushed into the sea first? Board at home. Craig or Stu? With the tide rising and Stu's on the worst rock he could possibly stand on, you may not see him for long. Getting closer to him. I give him a minute or two before he's washed away. So Anne, if you're watching, Craig did nothing to save Stu. What an arse. Doesn't sound good. And people wonder why fishing's dying out? That's why.
It was quite easy to pick out who gave what to the trip. I'll just start with me because I'm here and I know what I did. I could navigate. I had lots of knowledge of the sea. I could do all of those bits. I was also more capable of the sort of time management, organisational stuff. So I took the responsibility for that. Stuart's a driver. He likes to be going and he likes to have other people going. So he's quite good for that, making sure everyone keeps going. And Lee, you can rely on to be as steady as an oak. You know, he just carries on the same every day, and you can go to him if you want something that's going to be straight and clear and the same every time. So.
Obviously, we all contributed in different ways to finishing because our emotions dipped and raised quite a bit. So having a team of people going probably made it easier than having one, because if you got depressed halfway around you on your own, you might give up. I think Craig mentioned at one point he might have done that if he was on his own. So me and Stu kept him in it when he was feeling like that. And we all had different roles, so we brought different strengths to the group. Craig, with his sailing background, was, me and Stu could have done it without him, possibly, but it would have taken a hell of a lot longer, so we really depended on him for that. And Stu is a really good, strong paddler, and we all felt quite safe going around.
So it was the three of us, me, Craig and Lee. And Craig was, as I say, was the navigation man, and he taught where to go. And I think he took the lead quite a bit, and with times and stuff like that, getting up and getting off the water. It was Lee who he was always had a vote of what we'd do or where we'd stop, if we would carry on paddling, things like that, and he was always the third vote that made sense. I think we needed him to. So Lee was there to keep me and Craig straight. As you know, we're brothers, so we're fighting quite a bit, but Lee was always there to kind of put a sensible word in, put me and Craig straight when we needed it. And I would like to say that I was there to push people, maybe do a little bit longer days, especially at the start. And I think, personality-wise, I think we're all kind of, when we needed it, we pushed each other. There wasn't just one individual who did that. I think there was days where maybe he felt a bit more down than other days, and the other two were there to kind of push you back into action.
The basking shark has got a big mouth. The basking shark, man. Oh shit, shit. Big old fin it's got there. Benny the basking shark. It is, man. Otherwise it would have ate what I knew. Craig, man, it doesn't eat meat, man. Can't believe you.
Should have done something about that at the time.
Aye, so we've landed here in cracking spot. Got our boats in a beer garden. Weather's lovely.
It's a good place to have boats.
It is. Just getting the siders in. Yeah, looking out to sea. Beautiful view. Lots of nice looking women. Which is always good. Yeah, so it's been a good day. Craig, you enjoyed the day? Enjoying your beer there?
I didn't actually enjoy the day. I am enjoying my day now. But today was a bit of a crappy day. We set off from a lovely place.
It wasn't a bloody crappy day.
It was.
You say every day is crappy, you're like bloody... Today was great.
God,
Stuart,
no.
what average the
The
speed of
lesbians are
2.1
arguing.
knots.
Bloody hell.
Greg, it was a good day.
It was a good day in terms of, yeah,
Beauty.
paddled half the distance in the same time.
But it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful when you could see it.
Aye. Lee, what did we see the day that was amazing?
Basking shark.
I was still
How
don't know
awesome
if
is
that
that?
was a basking shark.
It was a basking
Saw a
shark.
shark of some sort and it looked vicious.
It didn't.
I sort of shocked myself when I saw bloody hell. Big evil.
You did
notched
spot it
fin.
first, aye. You did
I
spot
did.
it first. Well done. Well done. Aye. But
Swam near the boat.
thought it was gonna have one.
Gonna eat one.
Aye. But anyway.
This is what I believe it lands in. It's been a bit of a milestone. So it's good to reach here. And hopefully, well, I certainly feel like I'm on the home straight now. And all the winds that we've had against us will be on our back. Well, that's what we hope anyway. So, big cheers. Hey! We are at Lizard's Point, what I believe to be the most southerly point in mainland England. Been a little bit of wind against it, but it's been alright. So hopefully it'll stay like this. Possibly the flattest I've ever seen this sea before. Very, very flat. Very, very hot. Nice but hot. Makes you a bit tired. Just woke myself up low by nearly capsizing. So I was paddling along like that. Off. But wow, the sea is very flat. We got told about all this this training we should be doing before the trip by all the people who have done it in the past, and we didn't get any of that done. But one thing we didn't get warned about is the blooming weather on the south coast. Very, very hot. We should have done some training for climate adjustment or something. From Newcastle, you know. Pretty hot today, hot yesterday, hot the day before. It's taking it out of all. I was even chatting about a day off today, which is ridiculous, because we've had far too many of them. But it's hot, very hot. But we're meant to have northerlies 5, 6s today, but they haven't came yet. I don't know if they're gonna come. It's pretty nice at the minute. Saying that, a bit of wind would be good.
So look at your face, great.
And then I just thought, if I was to go fishing, I would be too close to the water and I might just walk off a pier.
Let's stay the camel. You can definitely see it there.
Gummy mouth.
Look at the toe.
Alright, let's have a look at the toe. Let's get our injuries and scars out.
Oh, that looks pretty nasty.
How many days old is that?
3
days old. That's pretty fresh. Oh,
Kicked you when you weren't looking.
where are we now, guys? We didn't spend much time in these places, do we? Yeah, I was on about the shop, but the Basti shop.
Wow, we found something. It has changed up a little bit, but not enough. We found a pudding pasty. There's a chocolate and banana one, and a rhubarb custard one. Still short of the pasty. Try it again.
Whoa. Wouldn't mind a job in this shop, like.
You like the back end of a boot?
Why would he sell them? Just dig them in.
Saturday the 28th, and we're in Newbiggin. This is Stuart.
It's day 64 of the trip. We're in Newbiggin. It's the second day, full day we spent here. And why is that, Craig, with your extra face?
Ah well, my extra face, you can see my cheeks a bit swollen. I've like you late. I seem to have
Come on, give her a profile shot.
contracted a bit of a Will you stop? A bit of an abscess 2 days ago. While paddling, I felt a bit ill. I thought I had like heat stroke or something. But anyway, we landed that night, and then I woke up in the morning and my face was all swollen. So I've had to go on like search of antibiotics, painkillers. So I couldn't get any dentists. It's the weekend now, so I was stuck. But I managed to find a doctor who would prescribe us some antibiotics. So I've started them, and nothing's really happening yet. So just getting more painful and bigger. But hopefully very soon something will improve.
It hasn't been that bad a stay though. We spent a ridiculous amount of time in that pub there watching the Olympics. So we've had a decent time. Anything else, Stu?
Want to get moving. Haven't got any money left, so it'd be nice to get moving again and stop being tempted by these pasties and ice creams.
Somewhere over there, brilliant pasty shop.
Very loud storm and water. Try and tell on it. Ever seen one of them? Oh, like that. Like a 3-wind chime.
How's the feel be on a train, Lee?
Scary. Real world things. Got a newspaper and gummy bears, so it's a rare treat.
Got what?
A newspaper and gummy bears.
Let's have a look.
The paper came with the water.
You got a free newspaper with water. I did. Strange.
It is.
Where we going?
Tinmouth. See your granddad.
Yeah. Should be good.
Not that we're cheating or anything on the trip.
No. We are going back to the original spot. We left our boats, don't worry. But 2 days of bad weather, so we'll spend them well. There's Craig up there. Right, Craig, bit of video evidence here. What's the date today?
It's the 4th of the 8th,
What's the
2012.
the time?
The time is 12:42
And he's taken up a diet from the date of
from midnight this morning until I'm suitably skinny.
and what have you had on your first few hours of your diet?
Today I had scrambled egg on granary toast without butter. No butter. No butter. And a caramel shortcake. And
some biscuits.
And some biscuits. And
My bag's going. Chase it, Lee. we've pulled ourselves into this into the shelter. We've set out today. The wind was meant to be a force 4, but it's obviously it wasn't forecasted at all really. We've kind of lost sight of Kayaked, it's had a lot ahead. The wind's kind of pumping straight into land. Been looking at the trees in the headlands for quite a while now. I think we're just going to kind of go back with the wind. Unbelievable. Just kind of pull ourselves into this as we can. We're just going to try and see if this wind passes as best we can and hope for the best really. If we start heading back now, it's going to be really hard. The capsized already a few times, so they're wet, they're a bit chilly. Yeah, we're just going to try and get it out best we can.
Lads, what the hell are you doing? I've been waiting for you for an hour.
Craig, man,
You're looking for a friggin' ice cream? What are you doing?
Dramatic video!
Dramatic video, pair of plebs.
Oh, you bloody spoiled it now, haven't you? Honest to God.
Day 1 of Craig's diet, and he's already eaten chocolate with his nuts, and
Eat the chocolate with
I didn't use my hands, I used my nuts.
alright. Yeah, so we've got a bag of nuts off Lizzie that had lots of chocolates in, and first of all he grabbed the bag and said, Stu, I'll eat the nuts and I'm going to give the chocolates to you. But now he's just swallowing all of the chocolate down.
For a couple of Craig's nuts, it's a handful. He said, no, these ones are mine. You've got your own bag. And now I've got a full bag and Craig's finished his.
No, I'm not.
Craig's diet lasted a day. What's Lee doing, Craig?
I'm guessing he must be having an ice cream.
An ice cream?
Yeah.
What flavour do you reckon he's going for?
If there's coconut, that usually a fruity one and a fatty one.
Fruity one or fatty one? Let's check them out. This is a common scene. Lee in the ice cream queue again. What are you getting, Lee?
Chocolate mango sauté and rhubarb and ginger.
Two fruity ones.
Two fruity ones.
No, I'm not chocolate sweetener.
Are you gonna rate this shop? Where's your best place been up to now? Ice cream shop. Ilfracombe ice. Oh, they were good. They were good.
What would you like?
Oh, I'm just filming. Lee getting fatter. He's sampling the ice cream all around Britain.
We're kayaking around Britain.
Alright, where have you come from?
Newcastle. Came around
I don't
Scotland
live in
and
Spain, you
Wales.
know. Yeah,
Brilliant.
my son lives in Central. Yeah,
Good.
I don't know very well.
Well, we're sampling all the ice creams we can as we go around.
Oh, alright then.
So it's going to be in a presentation.
I want to come talk.
This is award winning, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, well apparently, unless
Yeah.
I don't like ice cream. Don't know that.
How can you work in an ice cream shop and not like ice cream?
So I won't eat the profits.
Makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Oh, what's this, Lee? Thank you very much.
Alright.
Mango soda. Oh, and Lee, sample. Sample it.
It's nice.
Really nice, or just a little bit nice.
On par with the one this morning from
Really? Oh.
the one this morning.
The one this morning. Crikey. Breakfast, ice cream.
We started to slow down because of different conditions that we came into on the south coast, going anti-clockwise.
Basically, what Stuart's trying to get around to and finding it difficult to say is that we slowed down rather a lot. What had previously taken us 3 days started to take 20, or maybe slightly less, but still very bad. ice cream and pasties became a larger feature of our days than paddling, and blisters started to go away, and they were replaced by pressure sores from sitting on couches. So things really did change a lot.
We paddled a lot at that point, so we're a bit sick of the actual kayaking side of things. So once we'd landed somewhere and got comfortable, we're more reluctant than we had previously been to get back on the water, which slowed progress down quite a bit. Big waves seemed scarier later on in the trip.
Basically, it became a lot easier to find excuses. That was the key. There was certainly conditions that stopped us from going, but it was how we measured them that changed. In Scotland, we would have gone, and there was occasions when we went out and had to turn back. That never would have happened on the south because we were in a different state of mind entirely. So.
What we're thinking? Go for it, Craig. Craig, go for it. Okay.
We all came ashore on the beach, and it was nice to see a familiar face. Richard was down there working, he's from our hometown, and we sat in a beer garden. We were having a beer, just chit-chatting on, and a woman walked past, behind us all really, and I remember watching Stuart and Lee. We all breathed in at exactly the same moment and just looked at each other, and Richard looked a little confused, and either Stuart or myself just said, "A woman." It was just like that, and we just hadn't smelt anything that smelt nice for a few days, so it was a new and interesting thing.
It is true, but no, it wasn't only women who could smell. We all stank ourselves, so anytime there was anything nice, women, food, something clean, we zoned in on it from miles away and just headed towards it.
When you paddle on the water and you're in that environment all the time, from the beach to the sea, there is only one smell, and that's the sea. Whereas in everyday life, you experience lots of smells, from moving into more city areas to quieter areas to different rooms, where the only room you've got when you're paddling along is the open air and the sea. So I think just having that one smell, when you got into land and went into the town, everything was more potent. And a big one was women's perfume and just nice smells coming from them. I'm not saying I went around sniffing them, but they were a pleasure to sit close to.
landmark point, one point that's been given a bit of grief the last few days. We haven't been able to get around it, so this will be a good part to get through, a good point to get over, and hopefully from here we'll have no problems. We should get back alright. Teignmouth. Beautiful town. It's where my granddad lives. We went to visit a couple of days ago. But the worst shit I've ever had in my life were on that beach in Teignmouth, and it wasn't nice. So I kind of don't want to land there today. I don't know, I feel like it brings us bad luck, so we're going to carry on Exmouth. Bit of a maze, Exmouth, when the tide's down. It's a big old sandbar. You have to find your way in, but we found it eventually. The lads are just coming in now. There you go. Nothing better than being shot at early in the morning, just as you're getting on the water. But past the shooting range, mission. We're getting about 50 metres away from where they're shooting, and they started shooting again, so it just shows how safe it actually is. That's the range there, just behind it. Strange bit of course this, end of Portland, just on the outside of Weymouth. We've got the Olympics going on, so we're going to have to get out of Weymouth, cross straight over to Lulworth, I think. Yeah, but what a strange bit of course. Lots of different things. Tidal race as well in the end. Not the day, very flat the day. Just had a warning from the Olympics route, what they're called, security people. Apparently went at the restriction zone. Warning number 2.
I don't want to sort of put people down, but it has to be said. I think what had set in on the Olympic security team was absolute boredom. We got there as things were starting, getting towards the end, and lots of people with guns. It makes you plan things properly. So we were damn sure, or I was damn sure, that we were exactly where we needed to be, and definitely not where we needed not to be. So we had our headphones in and we were merrily paddling along towards our target, and you could see there was some ruckus. There was boats moving around when people looking, and boats coming towards when traffic on the radio, and then a big ship pointed its sort of bow at us, which apparently included some guns. And this smaller boat came racing up behind it. Still confident, we ignored it, and then it put sirens on, and people came out with loudspeakers. And the guy shouted over, he said, "Did you know you're in a restricted zone?" Real stern look on his face. So I looked up and I said, "Are you sure?" "I'm pretty sure we're not in a restricted zone." And he looked confused for a second, then he replied, he said, "Well, no, you're not, but you're close." And that just wound us up something rotten. We'd gone to great effort.
So he didn't have a clue, did he?
He didn't have a clue, and he was bored, and we were 3 kayakers. I don't know what we would have done, but we got chaperoned then by a boat to where we had to go.
He wanted to use that big gun on the front.
He did.
Little cave there, Lee.
We'd been in contact with Chris Heaney, who was a coach who taught us years ago, and he'd been paddling the Grand Canyon while we were doing our trip. He came back and said, "Lads, I'd like to paddle with you." And we were due to get round to Chichester, where he lives, quite a bit sooner than we actually did. So I think most days he'd send a text or an email or something. And we eventually got to him, and him and two blokes he worked with wanted to paddle with us, and it was a relief to have someone else in the water. I mean,
It was such a joy.
we're still friends and everything, but over a long period of time you get... The other two don't count as company anymore, they're just part of the day.
Yeah. And they stayed with us as well. So on the beach, it was really nice to have somebody else breaking up the old routine when we got up in the morning. It was just
People
much better.
enthusiastic to kayak.
Yeah, crazy, which wasn't us at that time. I definitely didn't expect people to be the way they were. It was incredible how supportive people were of it, and also just how open they were to three brand new guys in kayaks. You know, what, not dissimilar to a Viking invasion, just showing up on the beach and rocking up to their front doors, asking where we would camp or whatever. People fed we, gave we beer, let us sleep in the houses.
Yeah, then we won't have to. So where's your next play? Are you videoing us now?
I'm doing we're doing a video at the end, so
Oh, how brilliant.
try and get.
So what's that in your hand now?
It's a video camera.
Oh, you really are?
Ah?
So have you come through Arundel then, that way?
No, we're
From the sea.
We came from Portsmouth.
So how long did that take? How long did that do? Because I had to send on the ship and it took them 7 hours.
I think it took us 7 hours.
Rowing from Portsmouth?
But that's a short day.
paddling,
I
eh?
mean, sometimes we do 15-hour days.
God, you must have muscles. You stop for dinner or something. Anyway, well done, chaps. Yeah, well done.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Aye, so the great British public all the way around the coast. As I say, when we're first setting off, we weren't expecting any help. I had everything that we needed, our tents, what have you. And pretty much everywhere we landed, if it was just for that night, we were going to stay there and paddle in the morning, or if we were stuck, whatever. I think it was 60% of the time we're in a bed, or we had a meal, or in someone's house, being introduced to the family, and they were cooking with food and cooking with drink and alcohol and just anything. And yeah, everywhere we went, there was people that greet we and offer we lots of things, lots of nice things that you needed on a trip like that, when it's just the three on the water, meeting people we didn't know at the time, and it certainly wasn't in the planning, but meeting people on the trip was probably for me one of my best things that came from the trip, and just the them wanting to meet you as well.
Looks like the remains of an old pier here. Looks a bit unsafe.
Craigie. Craigie. Craigie.
Yes.
Lee, we've taken shelter.
Shit, shelter.
It's running down the boat.
Oh, Christ, what an awful friggin' day.
How long do we think this rain's gonna last? It's looking pretty bleak. On the camera it looks bright.
2 days, apparently it's gonna last.
2 days? It's gonna be a while until we get the tent up then. That smells good though, that food. Riding down the hatch. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Can we check the weather forecast?
Don't we just love this, yes? This summer's rain.
The ferries were quite scary, but it was really reassuring having a boat alongside to get hit before us.
I would say it was totally unnecessary though.
Yes.
Well, as we were paddling up, there was quite a tide pushing round, and Craig was trying to blurt out on the radio quickly because we were getting pushed round if we could cross, basically. And anyway, there was no boats in sight, so we crossed. And then shortly after that, a kind of boat raced up to her with a man on the deck shouting at her. We thought he was going to be really angry, but he turned out to be very helpful. He was quite canny, but he directed us around, and as we reached the next kind of opening in the harbour wall, he stopped us for a fair while, didn't he? And then he sent us through, but nothing too dramatic, to be honest. But it was quite interesting.
It was another one of those points actually that we had quite a few of, where people had built this place up to be, difficult and bad, and you're really going to have to watch yourself. And as it was just, you get there, you see what's going on, you judge it, and you go. And it's another one of those points that just remind you that really this trip is open to anybody. The key really is to know, as long as you know what you're capable of, you can go, and you can choose when you go and choose when not to. And just making those judgments is fine. It wasn't hard.
It was vague danger for a minute of paddling.
Yeah, but it was vague, and as long as you made the correct decision, which was clear to see, it was fine.
Basically, it was like crossing over a very big, a very big road with no cars.
Yes.
And it was just made to be a lot more dangerous, but that's one of them things.
Right, so Craig, what's the plan here?
Don't really know what the plan is. That's what we're trying to ascertain. But crossing the wash is a rather complicated and annoying thing to have to do.
So it's tide pushing in south and tide pushing in
46 miles.
north, west, east, northwest.
46 miles. Bloody hell.
What miles, Lee?
46, I think.
Where's that from and to?
From Hunstanton to Spurnhead.
Shit in the bed.
measuring it again because I'm hoping I'm wrong.
We don't have to cross to Spurn Head. It's not. If we do cross to Spurn Head, we're going to have the land a few miles to our left.
That wasn't straight. That was crossing to the coast and going on.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it was just crossing from Huntington up just above it to Skegness and going on.
Let's have a look. So from there to right and all the way up. Shit, that's like a map in a night. Let's paddle a whole map in a night. Yay.
Longest day of the day, Craig? Longest day. It was about to be longer, but then thunder came. We decided to get off. It's a bloody good job. And now, that's the indent in our tent. Well, you can't see nothing. But there's a big indent and all the pigs have flew out. And we're just hoping the tent will stay up. That the boats don't blow away. And the boats don't blow away. But I'll doom. Oh shit, I've just been hitting the knee with a tent peg. Now, if we'd been 20 minutes later doing this, would have been wet 20 minutes earlier.
The wind was jealous that we were worried about lightning.
We knew it was meant to be winter. There's no rain forecast. And this is gale force this, there was none of this forecast. Well, if this is our last video, Mum, I love you. Lizzie, I love you. Dad, I love you. And if I've forgotten anyone, I'm sorry.
That was a bit depressing. It's really not that bad. The tent might break though, so there we go. Oh, and we might be struck by lightning. That'll be fun. How do you feel about lightning, Craig?
That would be okay. Nearly as bad as cows.
Oh, lightning's nearly as bad as cows.
Sure.
What do you feel about the lightning?
I'm still hungry, to tell you.
He's too hungry to tell her. Really bastard.
After an awful day's paddling in the wind, and we've pulled the boats up nice and high, thankfully, on the beach and put them up. And on the way back from the pub after a few hours and a couple of drinks, the sea has come up so high that it's flooded all of the roads. So all the roads are flooded, that we got stopped by the police for and warned that the roads were flooded before we got here, so we're really worried for the kayaks that we had left. Yeah, and the next thing that's going on is all these young kids have come down here to have an underage party at our camp spot, where the police won't be able to get to them because of the high water, but now they're all upset because they can't leave. So it seems like the worst spot we've possibly picked in the world, but there's lots of atmosphere anyway, but none of us are up for drinking or late nights, so it's not very good.
Just finished the crossing over the wash. Feeling a bit knackered now after last night's shenanigans. Big party on the beach. Not finishing till late. Kept up all night, as the beach was our camp spot. But we got taken over by 316-year-olds. Alcohol, police, and tide. So, not feeling 100% fit for the day.
We've seen a few dots on a very yellow beach that was massive and a bit boring. So we'll paddle over these black dots, and as we got closer we realised there were a few seals on the beach, and we got closer and closer, and then few seals kind of turned into an absolute mass of hundreds, maybe thousands, and as we were passing it, the beach, they all must have gotten a bit of a fright, and they charged into the water around with, which there were so many, created a bit of a wave, and they were all amongst her and having a good look at her and checking her out. We were checking them out, and I was just one of them special wildlife moments on the trip.
That day paddling and for the 2 or 3 days beforehand was really bleak and not a lot to look at, so it broke things up and was a nice change to have something else on the water with it, even if it was a bit scary.
I don't know if you guys can remember what was on the beach behind the seals.
A firing range!
Yeah. It was yet another situation where we looked to our left and saw giant targets. At that point nobody shooting, but we had a bit of a disposition about people shooting at us by that stage in the trip.
I think I was so relaxed on that bit because I looked over and seen these seals that obviously lived there, and they were quite relaxed on the beach, so surely if they were lying there they weren't going to be shot at.
No, I didn't pay any attention to the seals that weren't moving.
Aye.
So here we are in Scarborough. We've just had two friends meeting with last night, sorry. And we've woke up to this. So it's not looking too good for paddling today. Strong northerly winds, and we're going north, so we'll just have to see really. Hopefully it'll drop off tonight or halfway through the day but at least we've got some friends visiting, we'll be able to do something. So but yeah, it's pretty choppy. Lots of white caps out at sea, so I think if we went out today there would be a few capsizes and we wouldn't get very far at all, so it's probably best just to wait it out. Second last day coming up, hopefully it's Tuesday the day. We're hoping to be back for Wednesday evening type of thing. Not very hopeful arriving back at that time, just because we've had days off because of wind, so but we've promised people we'll be back for that date, but it's not looking too promising. I think we're in Scarborough now, so we've still got another, I think it's over 100 miles to do in under 2 days, so the other lads are thinking maybe so we can do it, but it's going to be long hours on the water if we're going to get anywhere close, so it'll be a hard last 2 days, that's for sure. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Pretty windy today, should be on our back for most of the day. Tomorrow's the same until late evening, 6 o'clock-ish, 6 p.m. So should have 2 days of good weather, good paddling conditions.
Hello, it's the 28th today, 28th of August, it's a Tuesday, a few different things going on today, a few change of plans and different things. Weather's been, well, the weather forecasts have been all wrong recently, so we've just been trying to paddle and see where we get, and obviously getting quite close now. We're just coming up the Hartlepool, probably get there at about 12:30ish, and it's 8:15. Yeah, so it's a few change of plans today. We thought we were going to get back for the Wednesday, then the plan changed today when the forecasted weather wasn't as it was forecast. We were meant to have wind on our back, we had wind in our face. Yeah, so we changed the dates, told everyone back home that we'd be coming back on Thursday. But as we started paddling, the wind's dropped off a little bit. Well, it's completely dropped off now. And I think we're just going to go for it. So we're going to try and pass Hartlepool today, hopefully. We'll be at Hartlepool, as I say, about 11:30, 12. I reckon if we get to Hartlepool, definitely if we pass it, we've got a very good chance of getting home on Wednesday, which was the plan, which everyone thinks we're going to be there then. So if we when we get back for Wednesday, tomorrow, late evening, or even better early evening, that would be really good. I think we've got a few things happening when we get back, hopefully. Maybe it's a bit of press for the charities, which would be good. Yeah, but we've made lots of promises about getting back, and we haven't kept them, so sorry to those people who have done things and we haven't getting back for it, but we're really trying to get there now, and we're hoping tomorrow we will be at Newbiggin Beach. This is hopefully our last morning. Leaving Hartlepool, well, coming up the Hartlepool lock now, we're going to be leaving soon. Decent forecast today. Southerly, we are in northeasterly, which isn't so good, but should be enough time to get home. Yeah, so looking forward to see Mum and Dad especially, and everybody else. So yeah, should be good. Just jumping into the lock now. Before getting home, Craig. Last day, do you reckon? Well, we've been saying it's been the last day for a long time. But this one is. This one, I really think it's going to be. We've got a decent forecast. What was it, Lee?
42 miles to do, and well, it's not that decent forecast. It's southwesterly going northerly.
Northerly's not good for us. It's obviously going north.
But we'll do it. It'll happen this time.
Yeah, definitely.
Make it better.
Oh well, we'll just keep going until we get there. We're trying to get there at a decent time because we've got family and friends and hopefully press meeting with, which will be handy for the charities. So we want to get in at a decent time.
But they may just have to meet us at midnight.
Really? Oh, we'll not wait?
I'd like the trip to be more commonplace among sea kayakers. It's bumped up to be this fairly special trip that you can do after you've been paddling a while. But we thought it was actually, you could make it as easy as you wanted. You didn't have to go out on the hard days. You could just take your time and go around. So anyone could do the trip if they planned well as they went around. So if more people did it, it would be good for all sea kayakers, really.
Yeah. Something I would like it to leave behind after finishing the trip is the sport is mainly full of kind of an older generation, and us being young ourselves would love to attract more young people to the sport. I mean, we've had a fantastic time on the trip, and we also have a fantastic time just paddling, and it would be great to see more young people getting into the expedition side of things in the sea kayaks.
Yeah, that question is important because we set off right at the beginning with this in mind. What we're looking to do is to get across to people how positive the experience was, and also how possible it was. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, we set off with nothing. Set off on the whole idea with nothing, no boats, no real kit of any kind, no money, and we managed to get it all together in only 6 months and do a trip, and it's created all sorts of more opportunities. So the legacy we'd like to get across is that if people want to do something, they can, and there's lots of different ways to go about it, and you shouldn't rule things out. I mean, now if I want to do something, I get an idea in my head, and I don't think can't do it for this, can't do it for that. I think that's what I want to do, and how can I make that happen and fit those things into it. And it's a liberating way to be, and I would hope that we can get that message across to some other people.
Last day has to be a nice one, doesn't it?
When we were actually heading to the finish line, I was really excited and happy that we were finishing. But we actually stopped just outside of Newbiggin for an hour or two before we actually got to the finish line. And it's a bit ungrateful because people were setting up fireworks and the big finish line and stuff. But I was pissed off that we had to wait. We'd done 96 days at sea and I had to hide outside the finish line for people to get it ready.
I remember that day probably more than any day on the rest of the trip. I don't know, the whole trip you were paddling for that day, and when it arrived, it was an excitement that I can't explain. Paddling towards Newbiggin and coming round the headland was a strange one, because you had left that very spot 3 months previous, and coming in from the other direction, it didn't feel like it was real. It was such an amazing atmosphere when we got to the beach. I couldn't stop smiling. Fireworks went off, and it was really amazing.
I don't think I'll ever be able to remember exactly how I was feeling, but I remember thinking at the time it would be good if I could, because it was a very, very happy feeling, happier than ever I've been before.
Thank you.